The Markle family reunite.
This would be your last interview ever.
Treasured memories, home truths, and secret tapes are all coming out.
She would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
We're not going to go away. This is going to change everything.
They're really unhealthy for each other. It's a toxic relationship.
Dad's deathbed plea to the daughter he lost.
How can I fix this?
As a mother, I would sum her up as... not very good. She shouldn't be a mother, or should not have been a mother. It was a bit rough. She had a bit of abusive tendencies. It was probably when I was maybe 9 or 10. I would get like scratched or spit at, hair pulled, that type of thing.
I remember one morning Noelle was sitting at the table eating breakfast, and she had a pair of her tennies in the middle of the living room. And Samantha started screaming at her to get her effing shoes out of the middle of the floor. That was the start of a tirade.
She would threaten me sometimes. She would say, if you call your father to take you, you're going to get beat, or this is going to happen, or your hair's going to be pulled out, I'm going to rip your hair out. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel loved. I realized that most of the things she would say and do were just lies. So that just made me feel more and more insecure around her. If you can't trust your mother, who are you supposed to trust if you can't trust your own parent?
Yeah, in the early 80s, when these parties were going on, they were at our Woodland Hills house. During these parties in the early 80s, obviously my dad was there. You know, my dad would snort, cocaine, and my dad would be upstairs in the bedroom, and, I'd see, lines of cocaine on the mirror, and I'd see him do it, and, I didn't really pay much attention to it. I was a young teenage kid, and I was just, pretty much left on my own all the time, and my dad was never really around. Doria was, she was around more than my dad was. My dad was always working, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. Or I knew my dad went to Thailand was in the early 80s when he was married with Doria. He went for a couple of weeks, and I just remember it so well because when he came back, he gave me some pretty amazing, what they call Thai sticks. So that was pretty much of a big bonus for her. We were on the subject of talking about women, and we were out having a couple of beers and shooting a game of pool, I think. He says, you can get 2 women for the weekend for $50, and the things they'll do to you are incredible. You'll be a changed man. I kind of left it at that and didn't want to talk about it anymore. And I just know of a couple other times that he was talking about going over there. So back when I was a little kid in Chicago, was that, working at the studios back then was like almost like being a celebrity. So my dad would stay out and not come home for a couple of days. He'd come home a little wasted when he did drink back then. And my mom told me that, she knew that he was cheating on her too. And so that's why they got divorced. When my father would come home, my mom told me that, it'd just be a lot of fighting, and, I would hear a lot of screaming and yelling, and there was a lot of fighting going on. This is back when I was like really little though, so, and with that and the infidelities, that would be why they got divorced also right away. The relationship with my father has always been really frustrating, very non-existent. Very little bits and pieces of happy memories. And
now, after watching all of that, why should Megan feel any sympathy for them? Samantha is a narc and a bully who has made it her mission in life to destroy Megan by any means necessary. One would think she would try to mend the broken relationship she has with her own damn children rather than being so invested in another woman's life. But I guess money will make you do that. And let's not forget these other 2 misogynistic money-grubbing pigs. What they're doing to Meghan is deplorable, and the fact that the British press gave these morons a platform to do so is also deplorable. Leave Meghan alone.